Hi, welcome to week 3. So this week you have 2 major tasks. The first task is to discuss verbal and nonverbal communication, and the second task is to assess verbal and nonverbal communication choices. So what we'll be working with this week are various ways that our verbal and nonverbal choices impact our relationships. So you'll start by reading your textbook, then you're going to want to watch Friday Night Lights. Then I have a couple outside items I'd like you to take a look at. So I want you to listen to this Radiolab piece called Words That Change the World. Remember with these that you're going to need to click the white title in order to have these open up. When you do that, you'll be taken to the place where the item is. So in this case, it's this audio piece. The one that follows is a TED Talk, and so you'll need to do the same thing there where you click the white title, this TED Talk. Then you've got a discussion board with an originating post that's due Thursday at 11:59 p.m. using the PI method, and then 2 peer responses that are due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Remember that I can only show the one due date, so remember to do both even after the 16th has passed. And then you've got another prep sheet that you're going to do for me this week. Finally, for this task, if you're able to, join me for the lecture on Friday at 10 a.m. If not, no worries. As usual, there'll be a recording, but if you can, be there. The second task is to assess verbal and nonverbal communication choices. So to do that, the first thing I'm asking you to do is consider the episodes of Friday Night Lights you've watched recently and see if you can identify an example where a character makes a bad verbal choice or a failing verbal choice and explain why it's a failing choice. Next, choose an example where a character makes a failing nonverbal choice. And so again, where they make a bad nonverbal choice and explain why. You'll post those by Thursday, and then you will be assigned peers to review, and those reviews will be due Sunday. When you do the peer reviews, you need to discuss whether you agree or disagree with the post you're set to review. So do you agree that these are failing choices? Why or why not? The next thing you'll need to do is an activity called Levels of Disclosure and Goals. In this activity, you're going to look at this passage between Matt and Coach Taylor about Reyes, after Reyes lied about his motivation for hitting Castor. So you'll use this passage, and then there are a series of multiple choice questions and one short answer question that I'd like you to answer. This is related to the levels of talk, which you will read about in your textbook. And then I will want you to make a connection between this passage and what Matt's self-presentation, relational, and instrumental goals in this moment might be. So if you need to, you might look back at that week 1 lecture to refresh your mind about self-presentation, relational, and instrumental goals. Next, we'll get there. Next, you've got a nonverbal cues activity. And this is considering a scene from Friday Night Lights where Tyra wakes up in the empty hotel room after spending the night with Connor from out of town. So it says quiz, but as usual, it's an activity. In this case, I want you to write a short analysis of her nonverbals. So, or his nonverbals. So in this scene, I want you to identify an example of body movement. Tell me what that message means. Identify or what message is being sent with that body movement. Identify an example of facial expression. Tell me what message is being sent with that facial expression, and so on and so forth for all the different types of nonverbal communication. Again, this refers to the content in your textbook, so you can use that while you're watching and answering these questions to make the connections that you need to. Next, there's a short activity that's a multiple choice activity about making your own nonverbal choices. So it will present you with some scenarios and then ask you to make a choice about what nonverbal response is best. And it's based on an article that's linked here. So if you're struggling to get the right answers, and as usual, you can take this as many times as you like, you might use that article to refer to see what they're suggesting, because that's likely what the right answer is. And finally, I just wanted to introduce an assignment that's going to be due next week. So you'll notice over here the due date is the 26th, but I wanted to bring it up now because it's a little bit more involved. For this activity, I'm asking you to create your own Johari windows for 3 different people in your life. So this is based on the Johari window that you'll see in your book this week, and it has to do with disclosure. I have a PowerPoint template for you that you can use. You can really just sub in the names and the text as needed. And there's an example here from a former student. But it takes a little bit of thought to organize this, and you are going to write a paper about it in future weeks. So I wanted to present it to you now so that you have a little time to work on it. And if you have any questions about this or anything else this week, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm happy to help. I hope that you find this interesting. I think nonverbal and verbal choices are interesting, and I hope that you're seeing them and their effects as you're watching Friday Night Lights. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks.